Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Horse Center. It's a new week. Today we are joined by Jockey Tyler Conner, who is celebrating his 1,000th victory. How you like that? That's the best I can do in terms of the confetti. I have to turn it on and off.
Yeah, it's all right.
Tell us, how did you celebrate that 1,000th win, Tyler?
Didn't really do too much. Already had like a birthday planned for my girlfriend's daughter, so we kind of just mixed it all together anyway that night when I got home from Parks. But didn't do anything special, at least not yet.
Not yet. So when you do something special, what do you think it might be?
I'm not a big party guy, so I don't really know. Probably not a whole lot, honestly. Just having friends together, or whatever. I keep it pretty casual, so I don't really get too crazy usually.
Mm-hmm. Now I know that you also had a big Penn Mile night. How did that feel?
It was good. It was very unexpected. At least the big one was. I thought I could win a couple of stakes, maybe like the turf races and stuff. But that one came out of nowhere, so it kind of it was cool. But like it didn't really hit me too hard at the moment. Honestly, I just had to kind of keep going and finish the night off.
How much credit do you give to Shawn and Blake and family for showing up to your house?
Yeah, it might have been a good luck charm, I guess. I actually forgot they were there that day. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Wow. See, look at that.
I got short-term memory loss, man. I forget everything.
He's like, who's that guy again?
Yeah.
Came to my house, ate my food. Who was that guy? Yeah. So I thought maybe you might get yourself a new motorcycle or something there with all the good stuff going your way. Is that in the plans?
Yeah, I have one coming. It's not here yet, but I ordered one, so just waiting on it to come in.
What kind did you order?
Just the same thing I have now, just a new version. It's a KTM 250. It's just 2023 model.
Is it scary that the people who talk to you a couple of times can already kind of predict what you're going to do when you have a good day?
Might be a bad thing because they know what I spend my money on, but it's what I love, so it's okay.
Yeah, hey, that's what you go to work for, right? It's what they say. You go to work to make your money, and then you use your free time to do your side gig, and your side gig is motorcycles.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Yeah, I gotta ride horses to enjoy the life I live, I guess. So.
Mm-hmm. So horses and motorcycles, fast and faster. Well, they're both dangerous. So how was your time down in Florida? What were your thoughts about that?
It was good. A lot of fun. I appreciate Sappy for putting me on those horses. And they were all very live, so that helped also. It was fun. I really enjoyed riding. I don't think I could live there full time just because of the city and stuff like that. I don't really like that area. But the track is very nice. Everybody there is pretty cool. And so riding experience was fun at least.
For sure. I can imagine. I've been down to Miami a couple of times. Definitely got to be a little bit different than the middle of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I lived in LA and stuff, outskirts of LA. So I prefer that kind of city a little better, a little more laid back and more stuff to do. Miami's all just water and clubs basically. So it kind of gets old, but it's a beautiful place at least.
Talk about how crazy it was after that night, all the phone calls, texts, the more interest. You're the same guy, the same jockey. You've been doing good this whole time. You win a couple big races and your whole career kind of could change just the way people are reaching out to you.
Yeah, I didn't get a ton of, thank you, Robert, wherever you are. Thank you. I didn't get a lot of, I guess, business calls too much, except for like Safi and stuff from Florida. But I got a lot of, obviously, congrats and everything like that. Like my phone was blowing up all night, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, text messages, everything. But outside of Safi, I haven't gotten too much, I guess, publicity from that, I guess, besides outside the newspapers and stuff. But, yeah, no other trainers have really reached out to me yet. But most of the guys I've kind of ridden for already anyway, so they kind of know me.
Is your plan still to ride Colonial Downs and Penn National?
Yeah, as long as everything goes well. I've had some bad luck with entries and stuff, and there's a ton of riders there right now, so it's kind of hard to get calls. I was going to go Wednesday, but I didn't see I guess the worth in going down to ride one or two when I have 4 or 5 live ones at Penn that I can win. So Victor's riding those horses for me, and then Monday I'm going to Presque Isle the next 2 weeks, so hopefully Tuesday, Wednesday entries are better for Colonial after that.
That answers my question. I went on EcoBase earlier and we were double booked for both, and now the Colonial ones are gone.
Yeah, Victor picked them both up, so hopefully they run well for him. I know Maker's horse is very live, so hopefully she runs well, or he, whatever.
Now you got your 1,000 win going into Parks with your only mount. You ended up winning that. Talk about how hard it is to have a mount or two when you go to Parks or Delaware over the weekend. How hard it is to win on those.
Yeah, I mean, that filly's pretty handy. Like, I'm always kind of confident in her anyway, especially off the turf. They say she works really good on synthetic, but you never know going in first time turf. So I'm actually glad it came off, and I think it made it tougher. Made her tougher in the race. Like I said, she's very nice. She's pretty easy. So I'm pretty confident in her. And with Chuck, we have a pretty high percentage. So it's pretty comforting, I guess, knowing that. But usually it's pretty tough because if the horses don't like the turf or don't handle the surface of the track or shipping and things like that, everything goes into play. But I like riding one and winning one. It's definitely a much easier day than going to ride 3 or 4 and not having a good day. So. Can you hear me?
Oh, I'm on mute.
There you go. Yeah.
I said your number one fan was here, but then he ran away.
Oh, nice.
Rich is talking and on mute too.
For some reason, I don't know, we're not trying to be weird or nothing, but it's normal for us. But we have this weird echo all of a sudden on the StreamYard thing, and I can't understand or figure it out. So we have to mute when we're talking. So when the other one's talking, so there's not this goofy echo.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, and it never happened before, so it's just we can't figure out how to correct it. So I've been watching a lot of East Coast racing, right? You had, as you mentioned, Colonial Downs got started today. You just had a big weekend at Belmont. You've had, what's happening at Parks, and to me, the last couple of days, weeks, it looks like the East Coast racing looks a lot like the West Coast racing. Get to the front and you win. What's going on? Is it just been hot out there and dry and fast? But why is so much speed winning out east now?
Yeah, it has been very dry. We haven't had a lot of rain the last couple of weeks, honestly. I mean, even when it does rain, it's usually not a whole lot. I guess we had some, like for maybe over the weekend sometime. We were off the turf Thursday night maybe or something. I don't remember. Or Friday night, somewhere off the turf Saturday. So like Delaware and stuff had some rain, but yeah, it's been really dry. And not totally humid, but humid enough. And yeah, speed has been holding everywhere, it seems like these days, even on turf.
Yeah, I noticed that today. Just the Colonial Downs, get to the front, win. Except for a couple horses came off.
Yeah.
That $100 horse. I wish I had that one. I did have the one in the first leg, but unfortunately it wasn't in a contest. Now, you mentioned you have some live horses coming up at Penn National. I know you put Tyler notes out there for us every day, and we appreciate that from you. But who do you think is some of the most live mounts you have coming up?
I could double check, actually. I forget who I ride. I know I got one for Tim Woolley that I like. I have a first timer in the first race who's been working well, but you never know. His name is Upstate and Back. You never know what they're going to do, and there's a couple tough ones in there.
You have American Chestnut and Rachel's Wrist too, aren't they pretty good?
Yeah, American Chestnut, I wouldn't bet money on. He should be live in there, but he's a weird horse. He doesn't have a whole lot of heart. He kind of gives up pretty easy. So, but outside post 4,000, he should be tough. But Blacko Amino for Woolley is very live. He ran second in the stake up at Mile Day. So I mean, for him for starter 16, I think he should be pretty tough. And like you said, Rachel's Risk, back in for a nickel, or not back in, but in for a nickel off the drop. She should be very tough also. I forget what race I'm picking one up in. The turf race, Favorite Image, I think his name is. I ran second on him last year there, so he should be pretty live as well.
Are you afraid to walk into that locker room Wednesday? You expecting any?
I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. Wolfson got me a little bit at Parks, but no one else knew about it. So, and I actually forgot about it until after the race when the assistant asked me about it. But yeah, I'm sure they're gonna get me pretty good. I would expect it.
What would you do to somebody who got their 1,000th win? So we can kind of know what you might be up in for.
I don't know. They usually get you with like eggs or shaving cream and ice water and stuff like that. Luckily, I'm usually the first one in the room most days, so they won't, dive bomb me, at least when I get in.
That's got to be funny. So when that happens and you got time, do you get time to get it all off between races? Or you go out in the next race with the little eggshell here, a little shaving cream there?
Yeah, it sucks. Well, when I win my first race, actually, they got me and I had one more to ride. So I had to borrow boots and stuff because I didn't have any at the time. I didn't have any extras, and my boots were filled with water, so I had to borrow a bunch of stuff. But yeah, I usually have a couple minutes, but not a whole lot of time.
So you'll be borrowing other stuff again, maybe, or are you going to bring extras with you?
I got plenty now, so we're good.
On Penn Mile Day, we always talk about those split-second decisions. On Penn Mile Day, on the first 2 turf races, you really got close to the lead early, and you made that decision on the one, and she wasn't supposed to be to the front. How do you decide on you're just going?
Maldi's model. I wanted to follow. There was a couple. I think Toledo had pace and Paco maybe. So I wouldn't just put her in the pocket because that's where she really likes to be. She doesn't like to run on the outside of horses too much. So if you track something and put her in the pocket, she's pretty game. So that's what my plan was. But when I took a peek over and they're all just kind of sitting there and not going, I just let her kind of do her thing, and they let me steal it. Really, I went so slow the first part, and she just kind of galloped home. She was kind of wondering a little bit what she does when she's by herself. She kind of gets out and zigzags a little, but like you said, the turf that day was favoring that, and she kind of got over pretty nicely.
How about the other jockeys, with you being a hometown jockey and the only one in the Penn Mile? How happy were they that you won it and kept it home?
Yeah, they were good, especially Julio. He was very happy for me, probably happier than I was, honestly. He was pretty pumped. But yeah, they were all cool, and even Irad and all those boys, they were happy for me. So it was cool to, like you said, keep it home. It doesn't really happen ever. So it was nice to keep most of the money home at least this year.
We're going to cover a news story later about the camel and ostriches. When are you going to ride one of those?
Have you ridden one?
No, I never have. It doesn't excite me too much. It's not the ostriches are a little wild, I guess, but it's not really my lane. I like a little more aggressive stuff, I guess. I rode bulls and stuff a couple of times just for the hell of it, and bucket list type stuff. But the camels don't really get me going, so I'm good.
Well, they're kind of slow, right?
Yeah, too slow. Yeah, it's just kind of boring, so I'm good.
Courtney had a good fall, though.
Yeah, she did. That meme is hilarious. It's classic. She's about to win it, and somehow Vargas wins every year. It seems like he's the only one that stays on and gets a fast bird.
That's. Do you find it interesting that how people you go to the track, you can watch horses, you can bet money, you can make lots of money, and then sometimes the stands are full on a big day, and then it's a little bit more sparingly attended on off days. Throw an ostrich race in there, and everybody comes out.
It blows my mind. It's kind of sad to me, honestly, because those birds are at the zoo. You know what I mean? It's kind of I guess it's a rare thing to ride them, obviously, but it's kind of crazy to me that people don't come out to watch horses more often than they come out to see ostrich and camel racing that you can't bet on. There's no purse money. There's no real winner. You know what I mean? So it's kind of it's different. I don't really understand it, but that's the world we live in, I guess.
Maybe just something a little bit different. Maybe they should throw an ostrich race in there in between the horse races every day.
They probably
just unannounce it.
They should start leaving them backside and just have them there on set, ready to go.
Yes, indeed. Okay, we're gonna have an ostrich race today. Fans clock in.
They'll be there, so they get sick of it, I guess.
Yeah, then they'll have to come up with another one, right? Through. Yeah. What about you, Shawn? Would you ride an ostrich?
Probably not, but I mean, I probably have a better shot at that than horses, right?
Well, you could tell us. Did he ride a horse on your farm, Tyler?
No,
I would have bought one.
No.
If I had the room, I would have bought the one.
Yeah, the one he liked, VW Turbo. She was pretty cool. She's a sweetheart. Well,
did she get bought by somebody else?
Yeah, she left the other day. I forget who bought her, but she left a week or two ago, maybe.
Let's talk about that a little bit. You and your girlfriend do a great job with the aftercare of horses. It's something we really try to promote with horse racing. You want to talk about that a little bit on what you guys do and how well you take care of the horses afterwards?
Yeah, I mean, I know there's more than just me as a rider doing. I know Jose Ortiz does it a lot, and I know a lot of guys. And Nick Juarez has a couple of his horses too. So it's cool to some of us, I guess, put more into it than just riding them. But yeah, she mostly does most of it. I have Hockey Puck there, and she got connections with Dancing Sparks, old breeder, so we got her back. But she does most of the other stuff with rehoming and aftercare and stuff. I just have the farm there for her to use. But we try to get as many as we can that don't go into a program where they don't really get much care. Pennsylvania does have one, but they kind of just go and sit at a farm and don't get ridden or bought or anything. They kind of just sit there and live out their life. So we try to give them a place to maybe move on to new careers and things like that, whether it's like hunter jumper type stuff or show horse or just a riding horse or a therapy horse for somebody to have, so we try to do all that and get them, if they do have issues, we get them sound and get them ready to go and be rehomed.
I have an idea for them. You can send them to ostrich farms that have horse races.
That's not a bad idea. It could probably work.
It might work there. Hey, Robert Bryan says he's wondering if the companies that make helmets trying to do anything to improve them. You have any thoughts on that?
I'm not sure. I think they should put more technology into them. Like coming from the motocross side of things, they do a lot of innovation with helmets and all gear really, but mostly helmets because it's important. But they have, I think, some show horse helmets do have MIPS, which is like a multi-directional suspension system inside the shell of the helmet, which motocross uses a lot of. There's a couple of different variations of it, but I think there probably should be more technology in jockey helmets. I don't really think there is much. Like they're kind of lightweight and I guess they're carbon fiber and things like that, but there's not a whole lot inside it, just kind of styrofoam in a good shell, I guess. The new ones do break, which I think is part of the safety to it. It'll shatter or crack and spread the pressure to other spots instead of your skull. Mm-hmm. But they definitely should probably do more. I don't know if they are, but they probably should. But I know like the new GPAs and the KEP helmets, I think the new UF maybe, they're a little more advanced. So I'm guessing they've done changes to them, but I don't know exactly what they are.
Speaking of safety changes, what are your preliminary thoughts on HISA so far? Seem to go off without a hitch, or
so far? But I don't agree with any of it, honestly. I mean, not any of it. I think the trainers and vets have it very difficult, way more than the riders do. But they have to like record everything, report everything, training and medications, which I guess you probably should. And like obviously vet work should be reported either way. Which is kind of standard anyways. Like everybody does that already. But with the jockey stuff, it's kind of stupid, I think. They're changing the whips and all this stuff. And obviously the amount of hitting has been changed for a while, but with the big fines and they give you days for going one strike over on your first offense, like it's kind of it's a little ridiculous because they don't hurt the horse at all. It's just an encouragement and sometimes safety issue, but yeah, I don't like it. It's makes you pay attention a little more, but at the same time, when you ride cheap horses, it's a little difficult not to want to hit them a little more to get a little extra out of them, mm-hmm. Especially when you're riding for, smaller purses and every kind of thing counts. And you can get fired for not trying. And the stewards will also fine you for not persevering your mount. So you kind of have to balance it a little bit, I guess, to where you got to ride them but not hit them. So.
Speaking of that, you got fined on 10 Mile Day for hitting your horse, I guess, 8 times instead of 6?
Yeah.
Talk about that and how hard that is. And did you ever make out with an appeal or anything, or did you just?
I thought the fine was going to be more, but they thought HISA was already in effect, so it actually ended up being $500, which I was glad to pay instead of the $2,400. But yeah, I mean, in that moment, it's $400,000. I'm not thinking about counting my strikes. I'm just trying to get to the wire, especially when the horse is kind of hanging a little bit. So it's so hard to keep track. It happened to me the other day. Actually, I hit 7 times and I thought I only hit like 5 or 6 the most. So it's very tough when you're in the moment and like that, the crowd screaming and everything else. You don't really even think about how many times you hit the horse.
Do you feel like jockeys are going to be balancing out, like you just mentioned there, the purse money versus the fine? And if the purse money's big enough, then not to hell with the strike rule. I'm going to get to the finish line first.
It depends. Sometimes I think if you hit the horse more than 9 times, they take away the whole purse and they give you like 3 days or something like that. And that means the trainer loses the purse. The horse gets disqualified basically. So there has to be a kind of a balance to it, I think, in that sense. And I think if you hit like 7 to 9 times, it's like a 10% purse loss. So if it's a big purse, you're going to lose, 2 or 3 or 4 grand. which to some guys isn't a lot, but normal rider, it's 2 months of rent. So yeah, it just, I guess, depends. But yeah, I'm sure there's gonna be a little bit of something, and some owners do, like even back when we first started this whip rule, they would tell you, hey, we'll pay the fine, do what you gotta do to win. You know what I mean? So that doesn't happen much anymore, it seems like. But I think we're gonna be a little smarter about it, but it's always gonna be an uphill battle for us, I think.
Do you feel like it could be one of the reasons why maybe speed has all of a sudden popped out? Because if you're only allowed so many shots, sometimes you see jockeys give a little bit of encouragement to a horse that might come out of the gate a little bit slow. You use 2 or 3 out of the gate. Now you only got a few more coming down the lane. So do you feel like maybe they're holding on to their allowed whips to a little bit later in the race, which allows the speed horses to get an even bigger advantage?
Yeah, absolutely. Like even before, the rules are basically the same now, but they just watch you a little tighter. Like I would hit a little bit earlier, like underhanded, like from like the release pole around the turn. I would kind of hit a couple times, get my horse going. And now you can't really do that. That all counts now. Anything off the rein counts. So yeah, I'm sure that definitely goes into an effect. And like, especially like you said, closers or lazy horses, you got to get them going early, and they don't always just go when you ask them. So.
That might explain the whole speed thing. Shawn, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that could be. I was going to ask that. I know you guys don't count during the race, but do you kind of plan out before you go that I'm going to hit him 2 times in the middle? Nothing.
No, it's all kind of fly your pants, I guess. You kind of just go for it, go with it, and see how they respond. I guess just see, what they're doing, or what's going on in the race too. Obviously, with horses around you and stuff like that.
Now you said you don't really like Gulfstream to do that full time. Do you have other ideas that you want to do full time if you get the opportunity? Other tracks?
The only track I really want to or state I really want to ride in if I was like really pursuing this career to the fullest, I guess, would be Kentucky. It seems like my kind of racing. A lot of trainers, a lot of good horses, a lot of money. Which helps, and like a good area to live in for me, I feel like. I'm not a city boy at all, so I don't want to be in New York or Long Island and stuff like that. And I've done the Mid-Atlantic stuff already, and I don't really like those places a whole lot, except for Laurel. So yeah, probably Kentucky or Texas, if it'd be anywhere.
What about your motorcycle schedule? How's that looking?
That's the problem with Kentucky. They run 5 days a week, and it's always on weekends, and there's not many tracks in Kentucky. So that was a big issue. Actually, I looked into it over the wintertime a little bit. I just did some research. But if you're making, 5, 10, 15 grand a week, it might be okay.
You can build your own track then.
Yeah, that's a very good point. If I got enough land, there's plenty of farms there. I could definitely build my own.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, for sure. Shawn, anything else for Tyler?
Well, I did order a TC hat and a TC shirt, but didn't get it here in time. I'll probably get it tomorrow. So nice. The timing of the 1,000th win came, but timing of the merchandise didn't come. But
yeah,
supply chain problem. Sure.
yeah, everybody should go get Tyler Conner stuff over at Fantac. Use HRT code for 10% off.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed. Make sure you head over there one more time, Shawn, because I spoke over you like I always do.
Fantac. Order Tyler Conner stuff. There's different styles there, hat, shirts, all kinds of stuff. You got mugs and everything, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. Mouse pads, mugs.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff. And if you use code HRT, you get 10% off.
So again, Fantac, use code HRT. Pick up some Tyler Conner gear to celebrate his 1,000th victory. Well, we do appreciate you coming, Tyler, for all the help you give us around here. We 100% appreciate that, and we'll have you back when you win number 2,000 in about a year and a half.
Hopefully, it's not 8 years this time. Hopefully, 5 or 6, maybe. If I keep going, we'll get there.
Fantastic.
And let us know how they get you Wednesday.
All right, I will. I'll text you.
Some pictures, indeed.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be all over the place, or
right.
Facebook or something.
Well, we appreciate it again, Tyler. Have a fantastic night.
Thanks, guys. You too.
Bye-bye. Thanks, there you go. I'm back to my big head skills there, Shawn. Did you just come out of jail today or something with the prison orange on?
No, this is the number 7.
I know.
I was gonna have the Tyler Conner blue stuff on. It just didn't get here in time. I'll probably get it tomorrow or Wednesday.
See the difference? You got to get the horse racing today gear. Gets there on time. Just kidding, of course. Yeah, I mentioned. No, actually, we do want you to go out and support Tyler and support both shows. We hit a didn't pay though. We did hit a prime rib pick, and I was so mad at myself at the end, Shawn, because I should have had that 7 horse in the middle. I go back and read my notes. I look at my charts for when I do like the plot out the race. Got the 7 speed by itself, and then of course you don't play it like an idiot. Put it 4th instead of 2nd or 3rd, and the thing is, it was really hard for me to screw up that pick 5 because the top pick won 3 out of 5 races. So if I had done any other races with 2 or 3, anyway.
That's always the worst when you nail the other races and you just miss one, but you've literally nailed every other race. But how deep did you go with the 3 that you had? The 3 that your top pick were the winners. How deep did you go with those?
One of them I went 4. Another one I went 2. The other one I think I went 4 too. I don't remember exactly because we have a $96 budget. I was just really mad because
I always think too when you go 4, 5, 6 deep and your top pick is the one that.
Well, that was the 4th one, but the top pick did win 3. And it just made me upset because when I went back and read my notes that we post on Horse Racing today, I commented that he gets out of the gate fast. He has. And as I mentioned, you see all the speed, and it just kind of dawned on me that, when we were talking with Tyler there, that maybe that's one of the reasons why we're starting to see a little bit more of a speed bias is because if jockeys are hanging on to their whip count to the end of the race to when they feel like they need it, I mean, you're not always 100% sure if you're going to need it at the beginning of the race, the middle of the race, or the end of the race. And if your horse gets off to a slow start, I saw a lot of heavy favorites today at like Colonial Downs get out to slow starts and then can never catch up because the other horses get in front of them. They're running pretty comfortable fractions because they're not going, let's go, let's go, let's go. And then they have the ability that both provide encouragement down the stretch.
Yeah, I'm actually shocked there isn't more fines and stuff for the strike rule because they don't. I mean, there is really no way. How are you doing all that and counting? So it's amazing to me we don't see more of it actually.
Well, I mean, if it doesn't hurt the horse, then it's really more of a feel-good measure than it is an actual, it's
a public thing.
Well, it's for the people who, I think that hitting the horses are cruel. But if it doesn't hurt, then it's just there to encourage them. I don't see, the point in limiting the number then. I can understand if it actually hurt, right? Maybe one of the things we should do is when we go to a track one day, allow somebody to pop us with one of those things and see how it feels.
Well, I believe, and was it Ricardo Capi that said that if a horse is running in the top 3, like if you're trying for position, you should be able to do it as many times as you want. He understands if you're running 7th, 8th, and you're hitting the horse down the stretch the whole time, which you see that too. But yeah, that's where I think they need to make the tweak. Like if you're racing for a position and you're going for one of the top spots, you should be able to do it the whole way down.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. I don't know, because then then it becomes a more subjective thing, because then you could say, well, my horse was 4th and I felt like I was making up ground and I was going to be in the 3, or I was 5th and my horse, I just needed him to switch leads and then I could get it. I mean, so I think they're kind of stuck now that they've gone and they got to kind of do the zero tolerance thing.
Was that in Texas where that horse was up like 20 lengths and it was a
guy smacked him in the ass and he kicked him off?
Yeah. He kept whipping, and the horse didn't like the first
just once though, Shawn. He just whacked him once.
Well, no, he whacked him once, and the horse didn't like it, and he did the same exact thing and did it again, and it
just kicked him off onto the rail. Yeah, that guy felt bad after that. I'm sure, 100%. So you had mentioned, Shawn, that we're going to talk a little bit about something that happened at Penn National, right? Yep. And they had ostrich race and camel races. Shawn, did you go to the camel ostrich race?
No, and Tyler and I have talked about this. I'm on the same thing with him. It does blow my mind, and also blows my mind. Penn National should just do this more often. If people are going to come out for this, heck, have them there.
Well, I don't think you should have them all the time, because then it becomes, as Tyler said, they get bored with it, right? Because it's available all the time. But I think what it does say is that if the people in management are creative and they come up with ways to entertain people, you might get more people at the track. For example, maybe one of the things you can do, in the old days, they used to have a thing called drive-in movie theaters. They probably still have them nowadays. But if you have a track that has it's going to end racing towards dusk or dark, maybe you have a movie night. right? You can put the movie up on where the tote board is and, put a blank canvas across there and have a movie night. And people come and go watch the movies.
That's an interesting idea. I don't know.
And then they can race ostriches during intermission.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, we talk about this all the time. They definitely could do more, and there is definitely unique ideas that you could do and make it work and bring in more business.
Just need to hire creative people like you and I, Shawn. That would be the trick. Okay,
there are other tracks, and during July 4th and stuff, they did fireworks, and I'm like, fireworks while the horses are there. That doesn't sound like a good idea.
No, the horses might not like that. I was just reading a story about how dogs don't like it. So I imagine if dogs don't like it. My dog hated the 4th of July. Where I live in Chicago, I am telling you, from about late January, July 2nd, right on through July 4th or 5th, there's just a constant rumble in the sky from fireworks going off. I mean, it just doesn't end. Day, night. You're walking at nighttime. It sounds like you're, like there's a oncoming thunderstorm, and it never ends. But
and it's different than the other sounds you hear the rest of the year.
Those are crack, 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 crack. It's hard to tell the difference sometimes, Shawn. Anyway, so different strokes for different folks. So you would think that anti-inflammatory steroids for one trainer and the other, they might be treated the same. I'm not making any judgments here, but there was a lot of controversy, at least on Twitter during the weekend, about a scratch at Belmont with Emmanuel, and people were unsure why that happened. But it turns out that the horse had too much of a cortisone in it and was treated too close to race day, and Emmanuel subsequently got scratched. Shawn, so what are your thoughts about $1,000 fine?
So I saw this and I saw everybody complaining that it's not the same. The only difference is how it was handled. Todd Pletcher came out and said, we misread the rules. We misunderstood the rules. When Baffert got caught, it was.
Well, he said it was in the hay. I mean, you read the rules, you misunderstood. And I'm not going after Pletcher, anybody at all in here. I'm just saying that, that we're doing this whole HISA thing to be consistent now, right?
Yeah. I just, there is a little bit different on how Pletcher and Baffert handled it.
So can I ask you, what's the difference between my dog ate it and I didn't read the rules correctly?
Well, when you say your dog ate it, it feels like you're trying to hide something. You know what I mean? Whereas
I didn't read the rules correctly, you're not trying to hide it?
Well, maybe you didn't read the rules correct. It's a little bit more believable. And there are different rules now than there was before. So some people are going to misunderstand the rules or, do something wrong. So I understand what people are saying, though. Like the Pletcher thing, it kind of just got, $1,000 fine. Hey, it's all good.
You think home field ruling? Home call?
I mean, I guess, but I mean, that's not really with HISA. That's not going to matter. So, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, I think the mistakes are going to happen no matter who you are, no matter how long you've been in any business. I make mistakes, except mine are on YouTube every day. I have to own them because I can't say the dog ate them or I read the program wrong. I may have put them in the wrong order in my pick 5, but I know I have to hold accountability. I just find it curious, though, that one person they're both basically using anti-inflammatory steroids. One horse, won the Kentucky Derby, the other got scratched. It just seems like it just verifies to me, and I'm not being a Bob apologist because I don't care one way or the other. It doesn't pay my bills. But it just seems to me that the knives were out for Bob, right? And the excuses were out for the other guy, right?
Yeah, and that's what people are upset about.
Mm-hmm. So this is the way I read it. All right, so let's see, Shawn. Speaking of HISA, hold on a second. I don't know what I did right there. I hit the wrong button. Speaking of HISA, Texas, as you know, has said to HISA, bug off. And HISA said, fine. And I guess along with that means the Lone Star can't be streamed. And as a result, their handle plunged like 82%, Shawn. What do you think about those strong arm tactics?
Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, they're strong arming themselves. I mean, it's bad. And, You
Well,
see,
I mean, in essence, I think maybe they are strong arming themselves, but shouldn't you have the right to adjudicate and come to a conclusion before you have to suffer the consequences? I mean, what happened to, due process?
yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, but they knew when they did this is what was going to happen. They said they weren't going to send that signal out or nothing like that. Lone Star said it. Texas said it. It's so bad, like you can't even find results. Like I see some results on Twitter. Jansen Melanson just had 4 wins yesterday. Congrats to him. But the only way I saw that is on Twitter with people congratulate him. Other than that, you go to any result, you can't even find it. So it's really bad. Can't bet
It'd be
it.
interesting to talk to Erica about that on Wednesday. Looking forward to that conversation. Should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they figure something out because how long? I mean, horse racing takes enough hits with money. How long could they afford to do this?
Tough to say how long they can afford to do that, Shawn, but it's definitely going to be one of those things that is one of those things that I think they're going to have to reconsider what they're doing there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, 100% for sure. And I don't like the fact that you can have these kind of strong arm tactics where you can take people and basically ruin their livelihood, right?
Yeah, I mean it's not right with this and how much money it's affecting. You would think you would be able to come up with some
compromise.
Yes, exactly.
Like I said, get a chance to adjudicate it, and then after you've had the opportunity to go through that legal process, then face the consequences. All right. So McPeak will target the Saratoga Derby with Classic Causeway. Did you check out that race?
I did, and we talked about Emmanuel and the whole Todd Pletcher thing. That changed the whole complexion of the race. And Classic Causeway was the only speed of the race, and he wired the field at what, like 25-1 or something.
I think it was like 28-1. Yeah,
yeah, something like that.
And they were saying that Tiz the Bomb is the turf horse, so it looks like maybe Classic Causeway is the turf horse.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that Emmanuel scratch, not only did it create all that controversy, but it changed the whole complexion of that race.
Mm-hmm. All right, Shawn. So that pretty much wraps up the news for today. What's the schedule look like for the rest of the week?
So tomorrow we have on Vernon Bush again, and not only do we have Vernon Bush on, we have his brother, who's a trainer, George Bush, on as well. And then Wednesday we have trainer. She used to be a jockey as well. There's a big story with her, a lot to go on with her. Megan Fedlalovich, I pronounced that name wrong, but she won again today too. She's won like 3 of her last 5 starters.
And then Thursday, any idea what we're covering Thursday?
I do not yet.
Nah, nor do I. I'll have to think about that one for sure. All right, then tomorrow Terry and I will be back for Colonial Downs. That'll be at 12 o'clock, noon Eastern, so that should be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. Studying the charts right now to see kind of how that first day played out there. And as I mentioned, there was plenty of early speed. There were some horses that did come off the pace, so going to try to get a good feel. Hopefully we can find one of those 100-to-1s in there, Terry, like hit today, or like pay over $100. That's always the goal. And that'll be again tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern. If you like what you saw, please kindly subscribe to us here on YouTube at Horse Racing Radar TV. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. And at the same time, you can go ahead and hit us up on our social sites at Horse Race Today on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And one last thing before we roll, Shawn, a little earlier in the day, we introduced you to Picks with the Professor, and he had mentioned today that the game that he had highlighted as the play of the day in Major League Baseball is the Tampa Bay Rays. They were a little bit of an underdog, a little bit of a favorite underdog. They were plus 105. Right now they're winning 5-3. So we'll have Picks with the Professor's play of the day again tomorrow. So make sure you check in for that. There's a link over in the description for earlier in the day, but you can just go for picks from theprofessor.com and catch all of his Major League Baseball picks for today. They post everything for free. And the fact that he's a statistics professor, we did a lot of research before we decided to team up with somebody on the sports side. So check them out if you like to put a few dollars on sports as well. Shawn and I will be doing some NFL when the NFL comes back, though. So we're looking forward to that, right, Shawn?
Yeah, absolutely. And, we'll be as excited as every team in week 1 because you're 0-0 and you got all this promise.
And then after the end of the first week, you're trying to catch up.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's how it goes with everything.
Well, I was ahead for most of it. I think I finished a year. I finished a year up last year in the NFL betting.
Yeah,
pretty handsomely too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I had a horrible start, and then I started coming on a little bit. So we'll just start off like we ended, right?
Yes, indeed. We'll take it like we ended, and then we'll have a great year from beginning to end. All right, Shawn. So that wraps up this Monday. It takes us from wire to wire. Picks in the morning, personalities in the evening. Tomorrow again, we'll be back. Shawn, any final thoughts before we close up tonight?
No, I was glad to talk to Tyler again, and then tomorrow's going to be a real fun show. We've had Vernon on before. He's a fun guy, and his brother George is the same, so we'll get to talk and meet George as well. So it should be another great show.
Absolutely. Well, we hope we have a great show tomorrow, that all our horses tomorrow at Colonial Downs and the Tampa Bay Rays, Shawn, end up in
the winner circle.
Absolutely. Have a fantastic night. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you mañana.